Oh, goodness. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of I've done this in a while. I totally forgot to play the intro. I mean, when I say I completely forgot to play the intro, let's start this over. Okay.
Can do it for you.
We're going to go ahead and do the intro. Okay, ready?
Go for it. Go for it.
You're tuned in to the one and only show, bringing you entertainment stories shaken, stirred, with a little sass and a twist of lime. It's Northwest Nightcap with K-Cee Deeva, y'all. Don't miss it.
Okay, there we go. Now we're officially live. Oh my goodness. Welcome to live podcasting, folks. Hello once again. I'm K-Cee Deeva, in case you didn't catch it in the intro there. And welcome to another edition of Northwest Nightcap. I was just telling the crew, I feel like we haven't done this for a minute. You know how it is, life, busy schedules, kids, work, you name it. All things come up. But we still keep in touch with each other behind the scenes. Which I love. And then once a month we come and we do this. And there's a lot to talk about. Got a lot going on. A lot to talk about. But first, of course, I have to do intros of my fabulous team. Let's see if I can get this right this time. Okay, the two at the bottom of the screen. Okay. To my right, your left, the beautiful Princess Robin, who is the host of, or hostess, I should say, of Traveler's Guide to Venus and Mars, available on all podcasting, what do you call it? Podcasting platforms. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
It's been a while. It's been a while, Diva. It's been a while.
It's been a minute. Platforms, yes. And then to her right, my left, is her hubby, her husband, her boo, Kurt K-Cee Clayton.
What ups? What is up,
bro? Always good to see you. And he is the fabulous musical director for Confunction, who is coming to the Northwest in July. I can't wait to see them in action again. And last but certainly not least, my BFF, the very handsome Mr. Anthony Adams.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I was called you Anthony.
It's been a minute.
You want to call Anthony what?
Anderson.
Anthony Anderson, also known as Anthony Adams.
Oh my goodness.
In the words,
AKA
going on?
That dude.
Look, and y'all, I'm drinking water. Okay, I swear, I'm only drinking water. It's just been a minute.
In the words of my uncle Samuel L. Jackson, we all don't look alike.
Well, funny story. In my everyday life, on the day job, one of our higher ups sent out a congratulations email for a job I did at an event. It was a nice email and everything. And then, I did a quick once over. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And I was like, wait, what event have I done? It's been a minute since so I got to read it again. And it was actually it was meant to be for someone else. And then the other email that came through that said, oops, sorry. It was the other person. Now, needless to say, we kind of look alike, but I'm going to leave it there. Okay.
You got Steve Harvey, Miss America.
Right. Anyway, okay, let's jump on in because we got some stuff to cover. First and foremost, let's cover the bad news, the sad news first. Jerry Springer, we lost a talk show great in his time, passed away from pancreatic cancer. I didn't know, I hadn't heard any news that he had it. Obviously, he kept it very private, But yeah, that was sad. And quite frankly, made me realize just how old I am getting. Because when I think about, how long Jerry has been on the air and how I used to watch all the shows and all the chaos. And saw an interview with him a while back. It was really interesting where he talked about how, he never really, that wasn't the intent of the show. He really hadn't planned on it getting as wild and crazy as it did. But when it did, I mean, hey, that's where the money was. The people were watching and the ratings, and so he rolled with it. But he had totally different plans in the beginning. But needless to say, he definitely made an impact in daytime talk shows, and TV. And yeah, any of you have any favorite shows that you saw that you remember? I was thinking about that earlier today, and it's been so long since I watched them. I couldn't remember like one in particular. Do you guys remember any?
I just remember. I mean, I was younger, and I always just enjoyed watching the fights. I mean, people would just come out from the wings and come out just be swinging.
Right.
And now I can't be certain if the one that's coming to mind as my favorite all-time TV fight was Jerry Springer or Ricky Lake, because she also has.
Yes.
But Jerry was entertaining.
Jerry was definitely entertaining, and as Ricky Lake was as well. In fact, I had a friend that went on Ricky Lake for the several baby mamas that he had. And they tricked people back then on those type shows. Remember Jenny Jones? They would trick people. He thought he was going on for something totally different and literally got ambushed. And he was not happy about it. But
one of my old classmates' moms from 6th grade went on Ricky Lake because the mom was dressing not motherly like. It was that segment.
Oh.
So yeah.
Funny.
Oh, wait, I just remembered my favorite Jerry Springer. Well, I don't know if it was my favorite, but one of the most memorable. It was a guy who had a fetish for being babied by his wife, and she literally on the air powdered his bum and put a diaper on him. On Jerry Springer.
Wow. Only on Jerry Springer.
And obviously it was a grown man, but yeah, that was pretty memorable.
Hey, big bro, you get some ideas?
Bro's like, nah, not gonna happen.
Nah, not happening. Not happening. I mean, I remember Jerry Springer, but like I said, but I guess it got to a point because there were spinoffs of his shows. Because remember, the guy Steve was his security, and then he had his own show.
That was
right?
That was a little much.
And it just got to a point that Jerry be like, "Let's bring out Grandpa Johnson," and he just come out, just start speaking. He just come in. I'm like, what? It's like what is going on?
A whole new meaning to the word stage.
It's like what is going on with this?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, but shout out to Jerry Springer. Like I said, he's a daytime Hall of Famer. So
for sure.
He's part of the stay home from school package for me. So
yeah.
Part of the stay home from school pack.
Stay home from school pack when you were sick. You were on spring break. Huh?
Wait a minute. Are you using a virtual background?
No, this is my new crib. You see, I got the grand piano in the background. I got a brand new sofa.
Is that a piano?
I got the fireplace. Oh yeah. Oh, it's
somebody's been in Memphis too long.
That's why Diva thought you were Anthony Anderson.
Right, exactly. I was like, wait a minute, something's not right here. He's
look at this brand new house. Ooh, I got listen. I got
you mentioned a piano.
They are putting, as we speak right now, they are putting a jacuzzi in my living room.
Okay? I thought I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought I heard some construction going on.
Basketball.
Right. Yeah. I thought I heard some noise in the background. Okay. So rest in peace, Jerry Springer. All right, let's get. I've been excited to talk about this story, especially with Bro, because he's in the business, and I feel like he can give us some real insight on how this all works. So Ed Sheeran, who actually is one of my favorite musicians, I love his music, I love his voice, and and so he just actually won. It was breaking news today, like not long before we started the show. He won this case against them where they were trying to say, They were saying that he basically was plagiarizing Marvin Gaye's "Let's Get It On" song. And
Yes.
when I saw him coming out of court, the commentator was saying like he actually took his guitar in and played the chords and the notes that they claim he riffed or whatever.
Yeah.
And you gotta be honest, I listen to the songs, the song thing, "Thinking Out Loud" was the name of the song. I like that song actually, and then I'm like, okay, now I want to hear "Let's Get It On." I didn't see any similarities to me. I mean, I don't have a musical ear or anything, but I played it a few times back and forth, and I was like, yeah, I'm just not hearing it. So I'm gonna start with Bro because, like I said, you have knowledge in this type of things. Is it just that easy that somebody can be like, hey, yeah, I think I hear my chords A, B, and C in this guy's song, so I'm going to take him to court?
Well, I'm glad that they finally got it right this time because if you recall, a few years back, when T.I. and Robin Thicke and Pharrell got sued by the Marvin Gaye estate because they were saying that they kind of did the similar thing. The court got it wrong, and basically, they had a very sympathetic jury. With this situation, it's very simple. First of all, there's only 12 notes. There's only 12 notes.
Okay.
In music. And when it comes to chords, there's only so many, like whatever, no matter what key you play in, there's only, music is just like mathematics. There's certain formulas that work. There's certain formulas that, and it's just like, and I'm glad he did what he did because he went in, he played his song, he played, Marvin Gaye's song, but even then, and I said this, even after the first ruling with T.I. and Robin Thicke, one thing that you cannot trademark a chord. You can no one says I own the key of A. No one can ever say that. And on top of that, no one can ever. You cannot trademark and you cannot own a genre. Meaning, if he wins, or if the Marvin Gaye, the writers of that song win, then everyone that's played a blues song after Robert Johnston owes him all their royalties. Everybody that played a country song after the first country artist owes him all their royalties, and so on and so forth. So and even with that, there's so many songs that are in that same key with that exact same chord progressions, and that's what it's called. It's called chord progressions, right? Because if you really just stop and listen to it and listen to the chords, you got the Marvin Gaye song, "Let's Get It On," you got Ed Sheeran song, but the exact same chord progressions, the Commodores use the exact same chord progressions on "Easy," because I'm easy, I'm easy like a Sunday morning. If you play the exact same chord progressions, they work. There's so many songs with those exact same chord progressions because, once again, there's only so many notes and so many progressions that you can do especially when it comes to popular music.
Right.
So I'm glad that the jury finally saw it for what it is. Meaning, there's only so much that it's just like there are a million songs with the title "I Love You." You see what I'm saying? So no one can say, "Well, you stole the words that I've used." What should? Well, I use my title is "I Love You." Yeah. Well, you don't own the title "I Love You." Now you may own your rendition of your song "I Love You," but you don't. But you cannot trademark and own just the words "I love you." So it's the exact same thing. So I'm glad they finally got it right, because if they had screwed around and did this wrong this time, then you would have had a whole lot of people said, "I'm not making music right now," because everybody would be out trying to sue everybody.
Everybody. Well, he actually said before today, he said if he lost, he was going to quit. He was done with music, and you couldn't blame him. And not only that, he missed his grandmother's funeral in Ireland because he had to be at the trial. So he was just, talking about, to the press about how emotional it was. He was very close to his grandmother, and the fact he couldn't be there, to support his family because he's dealing with this. But here's a question too. and I didn't see that indicated. I mean, how does a jury? Because right, if I understand correctly, how juries are picked. I mean, they pick various people and job titles, and I just wonder how they could come to a fair assessment if, like, how you just explained everything to us. To me, it seemed like folks with your type of knowledge should be on that jury panel, not like random Joe Blow. If I was on there, I wouldn't. I'm going on my ear, right? Like I just told you, didn't sound anything like it to me.
But that was a good thing that he did, and he did it in a very articulate way, because what he did was he broke it down to them. He played these chords and said, "Listen, whether you realize it or not, you probably heard these chords a million times. You just didn't realize it." And so he started singing his song, and I think he probably sung some other songs that were very similar. And they said, "Oh, you know what? If that's the case, then the Marvin Gaye people that wrote that song don't own those chords either, or they don't, or even then they could be sued for what they wrote for Marvin Gaye, because it was really like the writers of the song that were suing,
right?
But they were trying to hope that people had sympathy because it was Marvin Gaye, it was the Marvin Gaye song, and they were hoping that they were going to piggyback off the exact same energy from the previous situation.
So in other words, they're broke and just figured, this song sounds close enough. Let's see if we can convince some folks that they stole from us, which isn't right. So I'm very happy for Ed. I like him. I like the way he carries himself. I think he's a very classy dude. Very talented. Anything to add, Princess?
No, I agree. I agree with what Kurt said. I think I've always thought about that. It's part of the reason I respect musicians so much, because they're creative with such limited, like what he just pointed out. 12 notes.
Only 12 notes.
Yeah.
12 notes. And to have as much variety and dynamic, just how that gets expressed, I think that's beautiful that musicians are able to do that. Because, I couldn't, but I agree. I was thinking, I never heard, I used to love that song.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran live. And he's just him and his guitar. He's a natural talent, just really natural talent. And that was
Shape of You was the first song I liked by him. I don't know if that was his first song, but that was the first. I love that. I to this day, every time it comes on the radio, I'm just like singing along, and And I remember that when he performed it live, I want to say it was on the Music Awards. He had like a one-man band thing going on, and the way it was. I was like, this dude is talented, So you're right about that.
It's not that fun to watch. But it just is like, wow, you do this, you and your guitar.
Yeah, he doesn't need the whole concert.
It's cool up until about after the fourth song. You're like, okay, bring up the rest of the band.
He just switches out his guitar.
Right. This is why there's certain musicians. So when I go to a concert, I need to see a show. Like I need to see that Michael Jackson fireworks level type show. I mean, granted, his is bigger than big, but I need if it's a band, I need them to engage. Like when we saw you guys at Jazz Alley before, you guys engage with the audience. You got people are up dancing and talking about Could Function, K-Cee. You guys engage with the audience. I've been to concerts before where the band, they're banding and doing their thing. And you can tell it's just like, it's a well-oiled machine and the artist is singing, but they're just not really connecting with the audience. It's like Janet Jackson, I'm going to see her in June. She's going to put on, I've seen some clips here and there and looks like bro froze.
I'm sorry. I was wondering if he froze.
I was wondering too. He was like,
as you were talking about engaging, I was like,
that's why I said, oh, maybe he doesn't realize Could Function.
Well, he was staring. I thought he was watching the game.
I did
too.
Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
I did too.
Hold on, let me add him again. Okay, let's see. Okay, I just added him again. Technical difficulties. Anyway, but yeah, bands like Confunction, especially like the old school bands like them, Earth, Wind and Fire, they put on a show. They may not have fireworks and all that like Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, and those, but they put on a show. And then, there he is.
I'm back.
We were worried for a minute, bro.
Hey, Kurt Clayton. We thought you were like there watching the game.
No, it's like all of a sudden everything got very pixelated, and I still can't see you, babe. I can't see you.
Can you see Anthony?
Remember what I look like.
I can see Anthony. I can see D. I can't see.
Maybe it's a sign.
Robin.
Maybe because you guys are in the same house. There's something weird going on with the internet.
Well, we've been having problems with our internet.
Problems, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I was trying to go outside of the internet. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. But you can see Robin, right?
We can see all. Yeah, we can. I can see all four of you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, we're good. We're good.
The universe just thinks you need a break.
You have to remember what she looks like. You just have to remember.
Just picture me in your mind's eye.
Okay, bro. Did you hear what I was? What's the last thing you heard?
No, you were saying how you want to see live bands and things like that, and live performances. So
yeah, I was saying I was using you guys, meaning Confunction, as an example of bands that engage with the audience. Where I've gotten to see some shows, and like I said, the band's doing their thing, the singer's singing, but it's very rehearsed, obviously, and there's no connection to the audience. There's no like when you guys come to Jazz Alley, it's just like everybody is just glued because you guys are engaging, you're talking to us, we're dancing, and I was saying that because you were saying about the one man show, like after song 4 and there's just artists where I'm like, solo artists that I'm like, would I want to see them live? Like after about the 3rd or 4th song, them just standing up there singing is gonna get boring to me.
Yeah, because he does not move. He does not move. He's just, somebody brings him the guitar, and then he switches it out, and he's just literally in the same spot for the whole show.
Yes, I don't think I could.
I mean, like he. Well, first of all, Ed Sheeran, he's really, really big, and he's really more like a coffee house type of performer. It's great. It's great for that. But when you're talking at a theater or for like a arena,
right? The Paramount, the Tacoma,
you got this huge stage, and this dude coming out here with just what is like? I done spent all this money. I better see some tambourines and some tubas and some flutes. Somebody better come out here.
Somebody better come out with a triangle.
For me,
triangle.
Yeah. Why is that cowbell playing when you need it?
I'm out with a recorder.
But I was saying too, Kurt, that it's like I love seeing the old school bands.
Yeah.
Like you all, Earth, Wind and Fire, those types, because they have they have the triangle player and the keyboard and the drums and all the little minute, the what's the bell thing that the xylophones, they have all that.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists now don't. They got a bunch of dancers, and it's like, okay, that's cool.
But what's old is new again, and that's which is a great thing because what's happening now, a lot of the newer artists are starting to realize, first of all, you got to have longevity. You got to have more than one song, and on top of that, you got to make sure now that you have that live element to your situation now. Because somebody paying $50 or $60 or $70 or $100, and you come out there with a track, they're like, no, we're not doing that. So because if that's the case, I could have stayed home and just listened to the record for free.
Exactly. Yeah, saved all that money. So
save that money.
All right, let's move on. That was some good talk on music. I knew it would be. Jonathan Majors. I'm sorely disappointed in him because, as you remember, we all went to see Creed 3 while we were in
Yeah.
Memphis, and we were like, "Dang, it was such a good movie!" And they both did a phenomenal job. Him and Michael B. Jordan, and
Mhm.
again, I won't take away from his talent. The man's mad talented as an actor, but I'm just disappointed. Now as we've seen the trend, um, he's had he's had um, his talent agency back out, lost a lot of promotional stuff. So he, allegedly he
Mhm.
got caught up into domestic abuse charges with his significant other. As I read through, I heard the initial story, and it wasn't until I read the article that I realized like how bad it was. So apparently, at some point, she passed out completely. 911 was called. He was taken to jail. He was let out on bond. And then it took an interesting twist where some text messages came out that she had sent him while he was allegedly sent him while he was in jail. And uh, saying, I know you have the best team out there, nothing to worry about. Want you to know I'm doing all I can on my end. And as someone said, in the article, it's classic signs of someone that's abused. It's like the cops are called, the significant other's taken away, and then now it's you know, I told them it was my fault. And what else she say? I told her it was my fault. I tried to grab your phone. And she stressed that to the police. This was not an attack. Please let me know you're okay when you get this, and so on and so on. Anthony, I'm gonna start with you. Why? Why? And it really hits home as someone Black, right?
Yeah.
When my brothers get caught up in this, it anybody, it's sad. It's sad to see happen. But
Mhm.
especially when it hits home as a fellow Black American, that was at the top of his game, height of his career, all these opportunities that now have been taken away from him because these allegations.
I mean, this is one of those things where I have to tread very carefully because it is an unfortunate event on both sides because as you said, him being a brother, and then of course this is a woman. It's one of those things where it's like everything you were just in one of the biggest movies of the year. You did a phenomenal job. You were on one of the biggest shows on HBO Max to get canceled that fans are rallying behind to bring back because he was, I believe, on
Mhm.
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft, yes.
Yeah.
He was on there, and fans are rallying to bring that show back. It's very rare they ever do that. Not to mention, everything that you're working for, you know, sponsorship deals and potential TV roles, it's all right there.
Avengers. He's supposed to be in a couple
Avengers.
of the Avengers movies. Now they haven't said that they're not gonna, they're gonna pull him or anything yet. They really haven't said a whole lot.
I mean,
Mhm.
he's gonna have to really walk the fine line. Make sure not walk the fine, walk the straight, and make sure he is watching the straight and narrow, because he's got eyes really watching all around him. And then he's really gonna have to walk that narrow because the minute he even slips up just slightly, people will be like, "See, he's a liability. We can't rely on him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him." And it's like,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
torn though too, because when I read that part about the text messages, then
yeah.
I wonder about the validity of the allegations. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
I got a big question mark. Not because it doesn't mean that nothing
Mhm.
happened, but it does raise a question mark to, okay, did something really happen? Or,
Well,
Princess, what are your thoughts?
okay,
Well,
Yeah,
I'll come back to Anthony.
okay.
like Anthony, I feel like I gotta tread lightly. I realize I probably have a bias because he's such a phenomenal actor. So, that's in the back of my head. I'm thinking
Right,
seeing him in his characters that were just
right.
the most, virtuous people, devotion
Mhm.
and all this other stuff. And he's really talented. And he hasn't had his day in court yet. That's May 8th.
May 8th, yep.
So, we don't know. But I gotta say, like you, Diva, I was I had some questions after I read that article too. I mean, just seeing it from the side of domestic abuse, if they were using those text messages to try to vindicate him, to me, they were more incriminating than vindicating nature. And, because coming from the, like an abusive mindset, you don't want to set off the abuser, like, hey, I told them it was me, but no explanation for what happened, like I can't say I've been in those shoes, but I have been in a situation where, like you're gaslit and you do go out of your way to prove, like, look, I'm not trying to make you look bad, but people will see the impact of what's going on. And, like there were other people who spoke in that article, again, don't know the background on that, but, it was kind of like, why didn't you stop him? And, like if there's some history, and we don't know.
Yeah.
But I hate to think that I don't want, if that's his issue, I want him to get help. I don't want that to continue. And you definitely don't want to sweep abuse under the rug.
For sure. And not only that, I mean the really crazy part is there's more women supposedly coming out of the woodwork saying, yeah, I had an experience too. Again, big question mark, because we've seen that happen in the past, right? All of a sudden it's like, yeah, me too. And it's like, okay, are they valid? Bro, what do you think? What's your thoughts on this?
I'm kind of with that. First of all, I agree with Anthony in saying, and Robin saying, I want him to have his day in court and go and find out what the verdict is first. Because sometimes, like we've said on this show before, a lot of times people read the headlines but never read the retractions.
Exactly.
And of course, it's gonna be out there for him because of who he is and the timing of everything. And especially when it comes to media, 1 minute they love you, the next minute they want to, it's all about how much they can make money off of you. And it could be a situation where, and I preface this with, because there's another similar situation that's out there right now that nobody has heard about since it happened, and that's the Michael Irvin formula of the Dallas Cowboys situation. Whereas, he's a Hall of Famer wide receiver, and he was basically with the NFL Network. He's he was with ESPN, and he was basically at the Super Bowl, the week of the Super Bowl, getting ready to report on the Super Bowl. And there was an incident that happened at the hotel that he was in. And one of the workers of the hotel claimed that he did something inappropriate. So the Marriott chain immediately woke him up the next morning and said, you have to leave the hotel immediately. You are banned from all Marriott chains, and he's like, what did I do? And basically and when they finally started showing the footage, you can see that, and even there were witnesses say he did nothing wrong. This worker came up to him, he was in the lobby, and this, female worker there, she came up, he was talking to her, he had distance between them, they shook hands, the whole conversation lasted about 1 minute and 15 seconds, right? Before that, he was outside taking pictures with some fans. And he walked, in fact, the ironic part about it, one of the guys that they interviewed was a Philadelphia Eagle fan, and his first thing he says like I grew up hating the Cowboys, but in this situation, I would have every reason to bash this guy. But I know I saw this guy, and we just took photos with this guy, and we saw him the whole time he was in the lobby. He did nothing inappropriate, right? And one thing that he said, but even then, he is still banned from NFL Network and NFL and ESPN for reporting on anything until after his name is cleared. And the one thing that he said is, I want everybody to keep that exact same energy. Keep the same energy that you all reported that, I did this. I know I did nothing wrong. But the same energy that you all were willing to just, crucify me, because of something that someone else said, when you all find out the truth, keep that same energy and report it the exact same way, and like with this situation, I don't know what it said, but like I said, because sometimes, people can put themselves in awkward positions, and sometimes it is, based upon your celebrity, and also anytime, and this is fact, anytime there is a domestic violence situation, or there's a domestic dispute, 99.9% of the time, the male will have to be removed.
Right.
It doesn't matter if, female was totally in the wrong or whatever. 99.9% of the time, by law, they will remove the male. They're going to either arrest him, or he has to leave the house, or he's got, so that's, and unfortunately, there are some women that will, and I'm not saying that this is the case in this situation, but there are some women that know that law and they know those rules and they use it to their advantage, because they're not getting their way, or they're upset or whatever, and they will use those little things to, to lash out, because they know they always have that caveat in their back pocket.
So I haven't kept up with this story, bro. So wait a minute. So she's saying in that 1 minute and whatever bit of time he did something inappropriate, or did they hang out later? Or
no. She's saying in that 1 minute and 11 seconds that they were in the lobby, that he said something that was inappropriate to her, and she felt uncomfortable, and and she was totally distraught and all this kind of stuff. Now, luckily, what happened was the footage came out, because even then the judge ordered that his defense team see the footage. Unfortunately, there's no audio, but and initially, when the judge ordered the footage, this is another thing that happened. The Marriott people, when his attorney went to get the footage, the Marriott people said, well, we're not going to release the footage to you. You can watch it with us. But on top of that, you have to leave all of your recording devices outside. And they're like, that is not what the judge ordered.
Right.
They're like, no, you're gonna watch this under our supervision, and we're gonna show you what we want to show you. And so his defense team had to go back to the judge and say they basically, did not do what the court ordered. And the judge found in his favor, said, now because you all violated a court order, now they get a chance to basically take this footage unredacted, which means no faces are blurred out. Now they have a right to take this footage unredacted, and they can play it, because because the hotel felt that they could violate a court order. And then they finally showed the footage, and they show how he was outside taking pictures with some fans and stuff, and she stopped him, right? And on top of that, they show her manager, apparently this other guy, he kind of said, okay, go, like it was like he was encouraging her to go over there, and then he kind of stood in the lobby, over in the bar area, watching the whole thing. And he was standing there, and he shook her hand. He was talking, then he kind of touched on her, on her elbow, and you can tell that everything it was like a pleasant exchange, right? On top of that, he had waved, and all the kind of stuff. And then after exchange, he shook her hand again, and he was went to the elevator. Meanwhile, when she went back to the bar area with the other manager and her looked like they had friction.
Oh,
so it looked like the whole thing was a money grab.
Right. For real. That sounds real suspect.
Yeah.
Real suspect. And I'm sure there's several cases where, unfortunately, when you're in that kind of spotlight, people see an opportunity. And the thing that what upsets me the most about it is, for those that are innocent, it's that cancel culture, right? So immediately he lost his job, his name is smeared, defamed, all these things. Okay, let's say then he's found innocent. Well, now this person, you've lost endorsements, you've lost all these opportunities. People are still gonna side eye you because it's like, well, but we don't know for sure,
But luckily for him, he is suing Marriott for $100 million.
Good. I hope he wins it.
Yeah, because they totally banned him from all Marriott properties, all across the world.
Well, the price of fame, right?
Oh yeah, but that's why people get upset with celebrities at times when they feel, well, this person is being uppity. They don't want to sign an autograph. It's like, no, they don't want to get caught up in any situations because there are a lot of people can easily, oh, this person pushed me. Now they know you got money, so now they feel that they can file a charge and hoping that you're going to settle it and just get a payoff.
That would just make me like, I wouldn't want. It's a fine line, right? Because you want to engage with your fans and you want to take selfies and all this, but you touch somebody the wrong way. You might say, "Oh, you have I like your dress," and it's like, "Oh, sexual harassment."
Yeah, because in that situation, K-Cee Deeva has more to lose,
right?
Because you can lose all your endorsements, and exact same thing. With this situation, he's losing all his sponsorship, all his future, earnings. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows exactly what happened because everybody said, okay, listen, it's out there, whether you did it or not, we're just going to step back.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But I hope, I hope for, for the brother that he can, I hope that it turns out to be just kind of a simple situation where, no harm, no foul or whatever. I mean, we don't know. And hopefully, he can kind of regain some momentum because he was truly on the upswing because he was basically in 3 major movies back to back.
Yeah. And like I said in the article, Avengers and there's a whole other list of things he had in queue. And I mean, first thing that happened though was his talent agency dropped him. Yeah. Which it's like they're the ones that find the work for him. You know what I mean? So
well, and once again, when those situations happen, when he bounces back, then he already knows, okay, well, I know that you all didn't have my back. You all didn't believe in me or whatever the situation is. And, at the end of the day, for them, they're just making money. He's like, okay, well, right now, we can't make any money off you, so we're going to let you go.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely be keeping an eye out. Like Princess said, I mean, he's become one of my favorite actors now. He's very talented. And
y'all just want to look at his body. That's
yes. I'm not no shame in my game. The brothers yoked.
That's really why
he works out.
That's why you and Robert was sitting next to each other doing the whole movie talking girl.
No, we weren't. It was more like did you see that? We see women, we can talk with our eyes. We don't have to we don't have to be verbal. We can give a look and we know what the other one's thinking they're talking about. Mm-hmm.
I think we were mostly talking about the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack. Okay, yeah, because if you remember, I just remember
stop. Both of y'all need to just stop. Both of y'all just need to stop right now. Stop this recording. Everything just need to. Anthony, help me out here, bro. Help me out.
Anthony, the soundtrack. The soundtrack was bomb. I'm just saying.
It was a great movie.
It was a great movie. The acting was superior. The acting, I mean, Oscar winning.
Good writing.
In the words of Mr. Brown from Meet the Browns, you and the devil is a lie.
It was good writing.
It was excellent writing.
What part of the script did you write? What part when he said, "Let me take my shirt off"?
Hold on. Both of them sipping water. The thirst is real.
Yeah. They sipping water because they sipping water because the water is the chaser for what they already had.
But you're supposed to stay hydrated.
Yes, hydration is key.
Especially at
Like
our
Sprite,
age. You gotta drink the water. Drink the water.
What was that old Sprite tagline? Obey your thirst.
Obey your thirst. My thirst for Michael B. Jordan. I was playing. Okay.
See?
No, that's being thirsty.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna sip some more water.
Y'all up here being inappropriate on this camera.
Hey, this is an adult-rated show. If you are under the age of 18, you should not be watching the show right now.
No, good and well, my pastor gonna see this.
You are stirring something.
Stirring the pot.
All bad.
Oh goodness. Okay.
All bad.
I don't want to talk about this last story. It's boring. Okay, how about this?
Last story.
I'm curious.
No, I mean, it's interesting, but I just haven't heard anything else about it. So, okay. So Netflix got into some hot water, I guess. There's an Egyptian lawyer that is ticked off because Queen Cleopatra, which I believe Jada Pinkett is executive producer on, she's a black woman. They're portraying Cleopatra as a black woman. And so this Egyptian lawyer filed a legal complaint and said, no, a black woman should not be playing an Egyptian queen. And here's my thing. If we look at a map, if we look at where Cleopatra was on the map, she was dark skinned. She was not going to be. Who was Elizabeth Taylor? Did Elizabeth Taylor back in the 60s play Cleopatra, which was ridiculous? And I forget the white male actor. I can't remember his name. But anyway,
Charlton Heston was Moses.
Heston, yes. But if you really want to dig into history and see what they looked like back then, they had, dark skin and thick woolly hair. And it's the whole Jesus debate, right? He wasn't a blue-eyed, stringy haired dude, So,
Christ.
What'd you say?
He didn't look like the dude you saw in Passion of the Christ.
Oh, Jim Caviezel, who's actually one of my favorite actors. He's from here. He's from here. Yes.
Well, we know he may be from there, but we know he ain't from Nazareth.
He's not from Jerusalem.
He's not from Nazareth.
I digress. But anyway, I just find it kind of ridiculous. I'm like, there was this guy bored and just wanted to be in the spotlight for a minute. I mean, that's why I said I don't even want to talk about it. But I don't know. Okay, let's talk about. So he's Egyptian, and so Anthony, what do you think? Do you think that they should have cast an Egyptian person to do this role? Is he right?
I mean, again, it's like you said, it's the whole Jesus debate. I mean, it's no. Cast a dark skinned person. You let Elizabeth Taylor play her. Why can't a black person play this role?
Exactly. That's my thoughts. Yeah. Princess.
I mean, I feel the same way. It's like you're making a big deal over something that I don't think is a big deal. Although, I can typically see things from two sides.
Yeah.
Working at the university, I have had Egyptian people in my program that serves underrepresented minorities. And though they are categorized as black, they are not black. Not black.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's no Black Egyptians, but it's not white, but it's also not Black.
Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, she's Egyptian, and she was mentioned in here. People said that the role should have gone to someone like her because she truly is Egyptian. And you know, I'm thinking about it. I didn't know this. I didn't know she was. But I'm thinking about her look. You know, could I see her as Cleopatra? I don't know. I didn't know she was Egyptian either. So, bro, what do you think?
First and foremost, well, he found, luckily, like I said, he found his suit in Egypt because he was like, it need to be banned over there. Everything is creative licensing. This is the business side of it. Because trust me, we have been screaming, people of color have been screaming for years that white folks have been playing us, you know, in different roles and things like that for years. Most of the movies when we grow up, you know, the cowboys, the Indians were white guys with makeup. Right.
I need to address this one thing too before we leave this topic. You know what I'm talking about, Kirk Clayton.
People of indigenous people.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my recent thing that I saw. There's a show out right now. Remember?
Oh,
I need to talk about it.
Go for it.
I don't want to take your time.
No, go for it.
God bless you. So, okay, the movie Candy. Did anybody see that movie with Jessica Biel?
No, I don't think. Is that recent? No, I don't think I see that.
This was out
talking about
a year ago, maybe two.
Okay, no, I didn't see it.
It was on Hulu, and is this so this is a true crime story.
It's a true crime story. Yeah,
happened. These are real people, and I don't know all of the that. I started researching it after that because I'm a true crime buff, but I don't know. Okay, so there was this one person in the movie. It was Pastor. I'm blanking on her name, Jackie something. Pastor Jackie. And in the Jessica Biel version, a beautiful African American woman or Afro Caribbean, maybe, she played the role. They had her, with the afro because it took place in the 80s. So, they were time traveling, which would lead me to believe Pastor Jackie was a Black person. Okay. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. I don't know for sure. Fast forward to now on HBO. There is another version of this story with what's her name? Scarlet Witch. Can't think of her name.
Johansson?
No. The redhead one. WandaVision and all that stuff. Anyway,
I can't think of her name.
It's not her.
Ashley Olsen? I mean, is
the Olsen, the Olsen girl. Yes. Okay, so wait, but
I know you're talking
it's
about.
Not her. It's her version. It's called Love and Death, and it's the story of Candy Montgomery. Okay, so now their Pastor Jackie was played by an actress that we all will recognize. I'm blanking on her name too, but she's white, straight hair.
It wasn't Jessica Lange.
I want to say it's Elizabeth. I'm gonna think of it. Let me finish telling this part. But anyway, white lady, straight hair, white lady, not any not dark skin or anything. She plays Pastor Jackie. Now they show her, and I'm like, she's a little darker than usual, and they have her with really curly hair. Whoa. And I'm like, hold up, did they just blackface her?
Whoa!
And it didn't take. It took me a minute. Like they were in a picnic scene first, where she was with a lot of other white people, and she was clearly darker skinned, a darker hue. At the very least, she was like super tanned, right? And then later she was having a conversation with Candy that I was like, wait, I remember this. I was like, that was a black lady. I was like, oh, are they trying to make her be ethnic for this role? So now I don't mind if you have a white person playing a role, you know what I mean? But don't blackface them. Don't blackface them. You know, like I don't have a problem with like right now all the controversy about the Little Mermaid and you know like they got a black lady playing her. So what? She can play that role. You know what I mean? But if it was a white lady that was bronzed to have
that is insane
of a black person, and that's why I thought about it, K-Cee, because you were talking about how back in the day they'd have
we did that.
I was like,
I mean, it was a natural thing that white folks would put on blackface to quote unquote act like a black character.
Yeah,
you know that was just the norm, and even then, for a long time in Hollywood and in cinema, period, only white people were ever cast for whatever the role was, whether it was Asian, whether it was American Indian, whether it was black or even Mexican or Latino. It was all white folks that was getting the roles, and that was one thing that people started saying. Listen, why are you guys going to cast someone someone that's supposed to be a person of color? Why can't you cast a person of color for that role as opposed to hiring? Case in point, Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. You remember what was it? The war movie?
Wasn't it?
Tropic Thunder.
Tropical Thunder.
Yes. Oh, right? I forgot about that movie.
And I mean, and he came in with the accent and the swag, and I'm gonna do, blackface and all, and everyone knew it was him. You mean to tell me you could not find in all of Hollywood, you could not find not one brother that could have played that part?
Right.
They
want to,
and so it's like, but even then, when you just go back and you look at historical situations, because they have found artifacts and things like that of Cleopatra and people of that time, and whether they want to admit it or not, she was a sister. She had a flat nose, she had dreads or locks.
Yep.
And that's and on top of that, look who is the executive producer of this. This is a woman of color that is the executive producer saying, I'm going to tell this story the way I want to tell it. So now y'all ain't got no problem when Harvey Weinstein or whoever want to tell the story their way. But as soon as we want to tell a story our way, then all of a sudden, well, it's they want to look at it how they want to look at it, and then they want to kind of say, well, this is that's not right. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I was trying to see. Okay, so Princess Candy.
I'm asking America. Somebody tell me. Tell me I'm wrong. I want to be wrong on this, but I don't think I am.
On which part?
That they blackfaced this person.
Yeah. Okay, so
they had to. They had to.
So is this okay? So Candy, crime fiction. Is this? You said there was two. Okay, I'm looking at this. 2022.
It's not a fictional story. It's a real story.
It's a true story. I'm looking.
This happened.
So Jessica Biel is the cast. She plays Candy
in the first one.
The first one. Okay.
Yes.
So there's another one.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the girl, the act.
But the other one is not called Candy. It's called something else.
Love and Death. Love and Death.
Oh, okay. Love and Death versus Candy. How do the two shows differ? Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And Elizabeth Olsen is the person who plays Candy Montgomery in the
Okay. Well, we're almost out of time, but
I'm about to tell you her name. I'm gonna put it out there, and I want America to tell me I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. Her name is Elizabeth Marvel. the one who plays Pastor Jackie Ponder
Pastor Jackie.
in Love and Death.
Okay, I have to see her to know who she is, but
Yeah, I don't recognize that name either.
As far as this whole Cleopatra thing, I'll end it on this.
She looks like this.
Oh, I've seen her. Okay.
She's in a lot of stuff. If you watched House of Cards, if you watched Law and Order SVU, she's a regular.
Oh, that's where I've seen her. I watch that all the Law and Order. That's my show. Okay. All right. Well, we're out of time. That is a very interesting discussion that I would love to talk about again at some point. What'd be interesting to do is go back and look at like old movies versus like nowadays versions and see how they, I think Bro's frozen again.
No,
I'm here.
Oh.
No, I'm reading about the whole
I've seen her. Yes. Absolutely. I know exactly.
I gotta show you my pictures though.
That's
my goodness. Anyway. All right, Pete. Well, we're just about out of time. I'm gonna go. I'm curious to watch that. It's too dark. I can't see.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Okay, now I see it. That's her.
This was the original Pastor Jackie.
Okay, so that's the black lady.
A black woman.
Yep.
They know they ought to be shamed. Who was that? HBO?
Yeah, HBO did the
Well, I'm curious about. Was it a good one? Was the story interesting? Because I'm curious to watch it. The
story's very interesting, but do not watch the new one because it's corny.
No, I'm gonna watch the candy one.
Blackface, but it's not very well.
That's just gonna make me mad watching that. Anyway, all right. Well, it's been fun as always. Bro, you have a fun cruise coming up. You and Princess go on a cruise.
Yes,
but
we do.
Playing.
No, actually, I'm not playing Confunction. We'll be on there with Alexander O'Neill.
Oh, fun! Right on.
Yeah, we're gonna be on the Tom Joyner cruise, May 20th through the 27th. We're playing with Alexander O'Neill, but other artists on the cruise will be Stevie Wonder, Lauryn Hill, Charlie Wilson, the Isley Brothers,
I love
Brownstone. Who else? Who else is on there? Brownstone, Shantae Moore.
She still has a voice.
Yeah, and then they're gonna have like a 80s against 90s hip hop. I think like Kool Moe Dee and all those guys are gonna be on there.
Oh wow!
And so it's gonna be really, really nice. So 7 days out on the sea and just chilling.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Well, while you're working, Princess will be soaking up the sun by the pool, I'm sure.
Yes, she will. She'll be at the bar.
Or at the bar. Whatever. At the bar. Outdoor bar, the swimming pool bar.
I'm repping wine tonight.
You say what? What?
I'm repping wine.
Oh, yes, you are. In fact. Yes. All right. Well, it's been fun. I can't wait till next time. We'll be back in June. Every first Thursday, we do this. We get together and, we try to, unless we're traveling or somebody's out of pocket, we like to do it as our cohesive group here. If one person's gone, we gotta wait till the next month. So, but hopefully we'll see you all in June. Stay safe out there. Any fun vacation? Well, we know what Princess and Bro are doing. Anthony, what do you got going on this summer?
I'll be going to LA in July and Cape Cod / Boston in August.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sounds fun. Mm-hmm. Right on. All right. Well, everybody stay safe out there and catch us next month. Later.
K-Cee Soul.